So guys, in the bacteriology we have discussed in detail about the spores, right? So what are the two species which releases the spores, guys? One is called as your Clostridium species, another one is called as your Bacillus species, right? So these are the two species in the bacteriology which releases spores. Now here also there are spores that are released by the fungi. So now let us discuss about the spores. Now regarding spores, these spores which are released by the fungi are called as Conidia. What are these called? They are called as Conidia. Okay. So how many different types of fungi we have discussed? We have discussed three different types of fungi, right? Now what are those three different types of fungi? We have discussed three different types of fungi, right? So what are these three different types of fungi? One is called as a yeast, another one is called as a molds, right? And the third one is the dimorphic fungi, right? So within the molds we have discussed aseptate as well as septate, right? So first of all, let me put up the heading yeast. What are the spores that are released by the yeast? Okay. Next we shall discuss what are the spores that are released by aseptate mold. Aseptate mold. Okay. And finally, what are the spores that are released by the septate mold? By the septate mold. Okay. So let us see what are the spores that are released by the yeast. Now when it comes to yeast, just remember the mnemonic by. Okay. Just remember the mnemonic BYE, by. And what does YE stand for? YE stand for yeast. So yeast releases two types of spores which are named with B. What does B stand for? B stands for blastospores. B stands for blastospores, and B also stands for basidiospore. Basidiospores. Okay, so there are two B's. One B is standing for blastospores and the other B stands for basidiospores. Okay, so that is YE in the sense by, right? YE in the sense yeast, right? Next important thing is that regarding the aseptate mold. So what are the spores that are released by the aseptate mold? Remember by the mnemonic JASP. ZASP, JASP. Okay, now what are these ZASP, guys? Let us see here now. Now what does Z stand for? Z stands for zygospore. Z stands for what? Z stands for zygospore. Z stands for zygospore. And A here stands for aseptate mold. A here stands for aseptate mold. And SP stands for sporangiospore. Sporangiospore. Okay, SP stands for sporangiospore. And Z stands for zygospore, and A in between stands for aseptate mold. Okay. Next important thing is the septate. Now when it comes to the septate mold, here also we have got two important things. What are those two important things? You have to remember these two important things by mnemonic SAC. Now what does this SAC stand for? S stands for septate mold. All of you know that, right? S stands for septate mold. A stands for ascospore. A stands for ascospore and C stands for conidiospore. Conidiospore. Okay, so these are the different kinds of spores which we have, guys. So what are these spores? Yeast has two spores, blasto, basidio. I told you to remember by B and YE, that is by. Next we have got zygospore, sporangiospore, that is released by the aseptate mold. So here it will be Z, A and SP, JASP, right? JASP, right? Next important thing is the SAC. SAC stands for, S stands for septate, A stands for ascospore, and C stands for conidiospore, right? So these are the important spores which you need to know, right? Apart from this, another important thing is that there we have discussed the cell wall, the structure of the cell wall of the bacteria, right? We have discussed the structure of the cell wall of the gram positive bacteria as well as the gram negative bacteria. So here also we shall discuss the cell wall of the fungi. Okay, so obviously wherever you go, the cell wall has a common thing. What is that? That is, you have got a phospholipid bilayer. So this membrane which I am drawing right now, okay, so this is your phospholipid bilayer. Okay, so these are your phospholipid molecules all over like this. So this part is called as your cell membrane. What is this called? This is called as your cell membrane. Okay. Now just above this cell membrane, you have got a very important molecule like this, right, in the form of a chain all the way. So this is this entire chain of molecules, whatever are there, these protein molecules, they give stability to the cell wall. Okay, they give strength to the cell wall, so that the fungal cell wall, the fungal cell wall very easily does not damage because of this layer. And this red color cells which I'm drawing here, these are called as chitin. What is this called? This is called as chitin. And what does this chitin gives? Chitin gives strength to the cell wall. Chitin gives strength to the cell wall. Next, just above this chitin, you have got some molecules, glucose molecules like this. Okay, so these glucose molecules are in the form of strands. So this looks like these glucose molecules are maintaining the structural stability of the cell wall, same like chitin, right? So these are called as glucans. What are these called? Glucans. These molecules are called as glucans. Just on the surface of these glucans, you have got again a layer of small proteins like this, right? A layer of small proteins. Now these proteins are called as manoproteins. What are these proteins called? These are called as manoproteins. And obviously fungus also has a cell wall. So this yellow color layer which I'm drawing on the top, right? So this is your fungal cell wall. This is called as a fungal capsule. Fungus also has got a capsule, right? So this is called as a fungal capsule, right? So what are the structures here which we can see? One is a cell membrane. Just above the cell membrane, we have got the chitin which gives the strength to the cell wall, and above that we have got glucans, and then manoproteins, and finally we have got capsule. Now next important thing you need to know here is that within this cell membrane we have got some yellow color molecules here and there. You can see here, right? So some yellow colored dots which I'm drawing right now. So these yellow color molecules which you can very clearly see here, right? So these yellow color molecules are called as ergosterol. What is ergosterol? Ergosterol is exactly similar to the cholesterol which is present in our body. Okay, so these molecules over here, right, these are called as ergosterol. And this ergosterol is similar to cholesterol, in humans, okay. Now whenever there is any kind of fungal infection, basically we give medications, right? We give such type of medications which will bind to ergosterol and inhibit the synthesis of ergosterol. If ergosterol synthesis is inhibited, then the entire cell membrane will be definitely damaged. Okay, so ergosterol is responsible to maintain the cell membrane. If ergosterol synthesis is inhibited, if ergosterol is not present, obviously the cell membrane will be damaged. So what are those drugs which will bind to the ergosterol and inhibit the further synthesis of ergosterol? So one drug is amphotericin B. Amphotericin B, what does it do is that it binds to ergosterol. It binds to ergosterol. Okay, it binds to ergosterol. Not only that, we even for fungal infections we use ketoconazole, if you remember, right? Ketoconazole. And what does this ketoconazole do? It will inhibit the ergosterol synthesis. Inhibit the ergosterol synthesis. Right, so as you can look at the picture down, so this is the ketoconazole cream which you basically use, and if you can see here, these are the fungi, and fungi are surrounded by, you can see here, right, what is this entire thing over here? fungi. This is the fungus in the center, and fungus is surrounded by this very thick white layer. This very thick white layer is nothing but called as your capsule. So this would be your capsule of the fungi. This will be your capsule of the fungi. And from the bacteriology part, there itself I have discussed regarding the stainings. So the stain which we use here is your Indian ink stain. Indian ink stain. We use Indian ink stain over here, and this organism is named as Cryptococcus neoformans. So this is the fungi which has got a capsule. So this organism is Cryptococcus neoformans. Cryptococcus neoformans, right? So this is all you need to know regarding the spores as well as the fungal cell wall, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Goodbye.